Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeon Degrees. My name's Adrian,
And I'm Alex.
and today we have a returning guest. Returning guest, introduce yourself.
I'm Kelsey Dionne from the Arcane Library. Oh.
Yay!
A story writer, a TPKer of parties. Allegedly.
Sometimes.
I've bought some of Kelsey's product, and it is a good time. It is definitely a deadly time. But if you know how to roll with the punches, make the story that you want to tell, it's going to tell it either way, as long as you can facilitate the party or the session you want to facilitate. So I don't, all those angry commenters, whatever.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah. And today we're going to talk about how to create theme in writing. Recently, this past October, brought out some more spooky one shots, campaigns, and just like settings. And I want to know, like, what is your method? What do you kind of do to get yourself in that mindset? Is it lights? Is it music? Is it just pumpkin spice?
Yes, it's all of it. No, it's definitely pumpkin spice. I mean, when October starts rolling around, like the world transforms, right? So like all that energy's kind of coming at you from everywhere, you know? So like yeah, it's all the pumpkin spice. You go in the grocery store and like all the pumpkin things are prominently displayed and that kind of like honestly it does kind of flip a switch a little bit where you start to get into this like okay, I got to start to feel the spooky vibe, and I think like the cultural push for spooky times helps a lot, but I definitely lean on music for sure. Like spooky music helps so much, and the most actually like the most recent adventure I wrote, which was part of a bundle of two that had like a Halloween theme, was completely 100% inspired by a song. So that was a big assistant to me and trying to get in the
Nice.
vibes. So yeah.
How very Twilight of you.
Thanks. I know.
Look, those soundtracks were amazing. So like,
They
oh my
are.
goodness.
I listen to it still. Like so there were some great songs from the Twilight like movies. They were so
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to agree on this one because I've never watched Twilight.
I okay, I saw the midnight showing because I was a teenager at some point.
Mhm.
But it's a very good one. But Kelsey, what song inspired did you let everyone know what song inspired it, or is it just like a writer secret?
Oh, I well, this one I was pretty upfront about because it's also a song that appears in have you seen the Disney movie Fantasia?
Yeah. Is it Night on Bald Mountain?
It is. It was Night on Bald Mountain. Exactly. That's the spookiest song on the planet. Like you
It
can
is so spooky.
I love it. It's literally like impossible not to imagine like this giant demon rising out of a mountain and causing mayhem, which is actually what I wrote an adventure trying to create that situation because I had never seen anyone do that, and I was like, it's so cool having this giant demon like rise out of a mountain and cause mayhem in this town for one night. Like, who wouldn't want to play in that adventure? Says I. So, I wrote that as my most recent thing. Hmm.
I think the closest inspiration I got was this song. It's just there's no vocals. It's called Return to Ithaca, and it's by Weezer, and it's just got this like we gotta get back or it's all gonna be bad. And I'm like, how do I facilitate this idea? And I'm like, okay, well, is it an airship? Is it a boat? What are they driving? And I'm just like starting to string these things together to make the whole like outcome from this like middle part of an idea that I had from a song. And
Yes.
I've gotten somewhat close, but not close enough. It's just there in the precipice of ideas.
I feel like it'll percolate and then suddenly it'll come to you, kind of. I feel like that happens all the time. So you just gotta let it stew.
Hmm. Are there any ideas that you kind of like let's do, and then you're like, come on, just kind of shake
Yes,
it into work?
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And I mean, I have some ideas that I've been letting cook, for even a couple of years because they're just looking for that missing link of something like whether it's maybe I finally hear the song that I'm like that is what I'm trying to capture or you see a new movie and you're like, oh, this action scene was so inspiring, and like I totally want to make a combat centered around this, and that's the missing link. So I don't know if you can make it happen, but I think that like you can. The flip side is I try to have so many ideas cooking around that I'll eventually have something that I can pull out and work on.
Mm.
So that kind of compensates for my like inability to force the muse to do what it wants to do.
Got a bunch of irons in the forge, and just eventually like, yeah, let's mess around with this one.
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. So it's probably not. I mean, there are so many people who are like, "No, you can make creativity be a habit." And I guess that's kind of true, but I feel like you can't force it either. You just can't.
Yeah,
So, I don't know.
yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, we've taken breaks because like burnout and stuff, and just like feeling overwhelmed, and taking care of yourself, enforcing that fun side of what you're doing doesn't make it fun after a while. I mean, that's kind of how that happens of burnout. It's just
Yeah.
like I'm creatively motivated, and I'm pushing myself, but like my soul is draining. Something like
Yeah.
that, to that
Yeah.
extent.
So true. Yeah, like burnout I think that's the biggest creativity killer is if you like hit the burnout point, it's so hard to climb back out of it. So better to take a break before that and kind of like avoid hitting it, but it's really hard to step away from something, whether like I actually just did this recently. I was writing a really big, like kind of ambitious adventure, and I was like, I just have to shelve this for now because I just feel kind of like poopy about it. Like I'm not having fun writing it anymore, so I have to just shelve it until I come back like in a year and I'm like, oh, this will be fun to work on.
What's the longest project you've worked on? Like, not through like consistently working on, but like, what's the longest piece of media, essentially?
Um, Definitely. So I'm writing I guess like a my version of the original D&D rules, and I'm taking them and sort of molding it into a different RPG called Shadow Dark, and I've been working on that one pretty continuously for about a year. So that one's been a long-term project. It's a full book, so it's a lot to write, but I'm plowing through the toughest part of it actually like now during this like next 2 week period actually, and like I'm writing like 40 pages of encounter tables, which is so just grindy to write. But once I'm through that, it's kind of a downhill slide to the end of the book. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen you like play test it on your server, which if you guys haven't seen it, go check out Kelsey's Discord. And how has that been assisting you in creating the Shadow Dark?
Wow, the server has like people who are 1,000 times more creative than I am, and so I absorb their vibes as well, and then they help me feel like enthused. And I think sometimes what motivates me to finish writing something is like imagining my friends playing it or using it. It's not the writing itself or the concept, it's more like thinking if I can just get this out there, then I know I can run it for my friends or give it to people who are looking to use something of this nature. And that's really what the server brings me because I see people who are like, when's it going to be done? We're excited to see it. And it motivates me a lot. So I appreciate them so much. Thanks, Discord server folks.
I can imagine too, because just like how lost you can get in the thick of it, and just I don't know what the point of me finishing this is, and then having that like external excitement that would motivate. I think, and well, hopefully motivate anybody, but I do the same thing in my like day-to-day life. Like I'm so excited about reading a book with my kids because I'm excited about reading it, and then you're like, oh crap, I've got to write all these like questions for it. They're like, hold on, like they're gonna be excited because we're reading a book and they want to show how smart, and like absolutely using that like external validation. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
it pushes you. And like I bet if you know your kids are going to be psyched about a book, like they're really going to enjoy it, then you getting to see them enjoying it like pushes you a little bit to actually like see it happen, you
Yeah.
know?
It's like
Hmm.
madness. Just they're excited, I'm excited. and then they're excited because I'm excited. I'm excited because they're excited, and it spirals out of control real fast. Not like anything else in my life would ever do that. Just
Right. Fully in control.
the normal neurodiversion issues.
Yup. Oh man.
Yeah. I kind of want to talk about like how I want to kind of come back to creating a sense of theme in what you do. I want to kind of focus on like, I guess, that song and what else you did around it to create the vibe for your creativity on that one piece of, I guess, I kept wanting to say fiction, that one module.
Yeah, it's that's so funny. That's like is D&D. I think it's a form of fiction, I think. But I mean, to kind of like when once I found that song and like I kind of got hit with this bolt of lightning feeling like I should write an adventure inspired by this song. Then I really latched on to the music because that was the inspiring thing. And so I listened to it a lot. I like watched that section of Fantasia a few times, and I actually with a notebook, I sat and watched it through maybe 2 or 3 times, that like 10 to 15-minute segment of Fantasia. And I took a bunch of notes about like what I was seeing, like what the vibe was, how the short developed, because I guess it's a short. It's like a 15, like it's like a, I guess they call it a short. And I was like trying to write down everything that could maybe connect to a D&D type situation, like these kinds of monsters, here's how they look, like shadows were shooting out of his hands across the town, here's maybe an idea for how to implement that. And so really like diving into the source material and analyzing it gave me just this huge amount of ideas that I could pull from them. And that for that adventure made the writing so easy. Whereas with other adventures that don't have a deep amount of source material, it's like you really have to scrounge to find things to pull together to kind of create these, I don't know, collisions of ideas. So this one was a lot easier because I got to pull from something very concrete.
Awesome. That's amazing.
That reminds me of like whenever you're forced in a class, like a creative writing class, and you've got to listen to a piece of music or something, and you're just writing down all of the things that could come out of that, right? All of the emotions and all of the settings that it could be taking place, and then you just have that to pull. That's a really, really fun idea.
Yeah,
I'm
that's huge
gonna
sex.
now, yeah. Thinking about writing a module, I've been like in 1,000 different ideas, and TikTok is no help. And I really like the idea of just finding a piece of music and then like finding what inspires you. So thank you for helping me.
Oh, I'm glad to. I have to use every trick in the book or I won't be able to squeeze stuff out of myself. So I gotta, I mean, and if there's a song that you find really inspiring, Alex, like and then this is another trick I use. I'll go on YouTube and I'll see fan made videos to that music, and I'll be like, interesting, like what themes did other people attach to this, and like what visual imagery did they attach to it, and like even if it's not directly connected to what I'm gonna write, it's still really inspiring for some reason, getting that like that audio and visual connection going on. So that's another thing you could try.
And that would also work like theming an entire campaign. So like I have this one song and maybe this one song runs for the entire campaign, but in the different iterations, you have the different pieces of your story. Although you're using the same story, the same song, it is more cohesive, like the different parts. Like, I don't know. The 1,000 different ways that they've sung Jolene, I'm sure would be a lot of fun to write in a campaign. All right, well, I'm going to go now. I'm ready to go write my D&D campaign based on Jolene.
Yes, you could. You could totally do it. And like it's cool. It's just when you said that, it made me realize too, like using this song as a structure, and like songs have like they sort of have a movement and structure to them. And so like they have an introduction and then they have repeating themes and then they'll have a switch up. And it's kind of cool to maybe use that as a model for an adventure because it helps you remember to like put in variety, but like put in some repeating themes and like, oh, here I could make a change up they weren't expecting, and then I'm going to bring it all together at the end. So like the song's kind of a good path to follow if you look at it structurally. Yeah.
I'll take my credit as soon as you write that article. It's fine.
You made me think of that. You forced me to learn something.
Wow.
Not the teacher doing the teaching.
No.
But yeah, Alex, you need to sign up for one of those one shots
I
this
thought
coming year.
I have been rolling around. I do have one monster idea that I did see on the TikTok about and I see now I'm gonna ruin it for anybody who's listening. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
If you do it the
Um,
early months, we'll just put a bunch of episodes before this one.
There you go.
it'll be after it's come out. But like a non-Newtonian jelly cube, right? So you know that non-Newtonian fluid, you like hit it and it solidifies with that force. So like the adventurers have to hit it below the AC, otherwise it's just a solid force. And so it forces your adventurers to like think about how they're hitting things because the barbarian just can't go into rage and like whack 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 because it's not going to do any damage.
That's so cool. It's like a puzzle and a monster combined. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then with this train of thought, I was like, all right, what else, like what setting would this work in? And I went downhill and then I got distracted because I thought of like Legends of the Hidden Temple and then doing it like a Legends of the Hidden Temple run because the people we're playing with are our age. And so that's nostalgia.
Yes.
But
That's pulp action too. That's like one of my favorite genres. If you write that, I want to play it. When are you gonna write that? I
oh
need to use
Yeah,
that.
no.
when are you gonna write it?
I have people excited for my writing. According to
Oh
Kelsey Dionne, I
no,
have to start writing it.
here
Yes.
comes the motivation.
Oh no.
Oh, yes, me only. I'm like, I need you to write this. It's no, there's more people who want that. The listeners now want it because you told them about it and it sounds
Mhm.
freaking cool.
Well,
So
thank you. Here's the consequences of my actions.
there you are. Now you gotta commit.
Uh, I think I've only implemented that through skill checks before where they want a lower one. Like it's easier to lie about something you might have saw. I was like, hey, why are you looking there? Like I didn't see anything. So like because they rolled low perception and they didn't see what actually happened, that when they rolled high insight, the bad guys did. They're like, okay, we believe you this time. Like I've done that with like a Medusa type character where like they saw the eyes and they'd go insane and they're like, okay, if you roll low enough perception, you won't get like charmed or stonified, whatever it's called, petrified. And I'm like, using that other end of the kind of like the DC spectrum in order to kind of like make it a little bit more kind of immersive.
Yeah, flipping
Yeah,
it
think of
around.
things you want to fail.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Make the whole D20 something interesting, opposed to like I ate one. So like, okay, one saved my ass that time. All right, okay.
They can be fun once in a while.
I want to talk about working with other individuals when creating your modules. I think I forget if it was the Light Keep or gosh, your partner drew the maps for one of
Oh,
your
that's
modules.
true. Yes, that's true. She did the maps for yeah, it was one of the lighthouse ones. It's an adventure called The Corruption of Skyhorn Lighthouse, which is actually it's like a follow-up to one I had released prior called The Secrets of Skyhorn Lighthouse. There's a naming theme there. So she did the maps for The Corruption of Skyhorn Lighthouse, and then she actually did all the maps for the two like spooky adventures I just released also. So that was fun.
Is that? I think I might have seen that on her Instagram.
Mhm.
And I did see some of the spooky stuff. How is it when you like kind of run out of motivation? Do you kind of like turn to your partner like, "Hey, what you doing?" Or like, how do you get motivated? Do you just like watch them be motivated in their task and it motivates you, or like, how does it work in the house?
Yeah, it's a mix of things. Like she is absolutely my like biggest cheerleader too. Like, I really wouldn't be doing this at all if it weren't for her being like, "Why don't you write adventures? You love doing it. Like people want adventures." So she kind of knows when I'm like waffling about doing something and often can goad me into doing it if it's something I should continue with, you know. I think she can just tell. Like I know this sounds really silly, but like a little bit of time pressure never hurts. And she's like, "Hey, if you can get the writing done in the next 2 days, I have an opening in my schedule to draw the maps, but only if you get the writing done." So then I'm like, okay, and I start typing. Helps me get it done. So She knows all the tricks, I guess. Hmm.
What a wonderful dynamic.
Hmm.
That's a good
Hmm.
partnership because like my husband does the same thing that he knows when I really want to do a thing and then it's like, "Hey, here's the thing that you need to go do. Like just go do it. You're fine." Or like
Yeah.
giving me time in our schedule together and being like, "Hey, I see that you're really passionate. I have no problem." Because part of my fear is like, "Oh, we don't I want to spend time together. I want to do whatever. I should be doing this, this, and this." It's like,
Hmm.
no, you're going to be distracted with the idea that you have right now. Go do it. And then coming back. And like just having that other person just give you that permission, just release that pressure, you know, I think also
Yeah.
really helps.
That that does certainly help, right? And like having them sort of confirm that you're not being weird for like wanting to pursue or invest time into something and like because like so many times people are like, "Oh, don't do that. That's a dumb idea." But like having someone be like, "No, that's a totally cool idea. You should try it." Like it seems I don't know, it seems kind of like Disney movie-ish, but it really does help when someone's excited for you and is like, "Why aren't you doing this? You should be doing this," you know? Hmm.
If you don't have
I
that, dear listener, please go find a friend or a partner that is 100% here for your ideas.
Yeah, just get a cheerleader, someone who's like, "Do the things you want to do," and then kind of makes you do it sometimes when you're feeling flippy floppy about it.
and Diana's like, "Hey, you've been sleeping for 4 hours. You better get up because I gotta go to the restroom." I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Don. Dog, I love you.
Sorry, Adrian.
It's the closest thing I got to be relatable with. Okay.
It's because it's not because of a lack of like attention or affection that you have as an individual. It's because you live in the middle of nowhere that there
It
are like
is. It really
four
is.
eligible people that you could potentially date.
I swiped through Tinder in a day. That's all I gotta say within my area.
Oh, that's tough. I kind of ended up moving partly because I was like, there's no prospects here. There ain't no prospects here. I gotta move, you know?
I
And then
gotta
it
go
worked
where the
out.
gold is.
Yeah.
I got really lucky because Michael and I were friends before. We were friends before, but it just never worked out just compatibly or timing wise. And I was on my last legs. I was like, there is nobody in Lubbock. I am going to die alone. I need to, or because I was scuba diving, I'm going to marry somebody that's gonna die in the next 20 years. Like I'm going to just have a sugar dad. Like so those are my two choices, right? Die alone or marry somebody way out of my age range. And I was on the Tinder and we'd swiped and had coffee and then that was it. So like I feel that where I could have potentially moved because there were no suitors.
Yeah, it's, and the dating apps do help. I used to be skeptical, but I met my wife on OkCupid like 8 years ago or something now. So, and I was like, I don't want to do this. This isn't how you meet people. I was so old fashioned back then, and like, imagine if I hadn't, like life would be so weird now. So not what it is. You never know.
What they should do is start putting a D&D element into it. So like having OkCupid group dates where like everybody can play D&D together. And then
That
it's
would
not
be,
necessarily like I have to go creepily one by one. There you go.
that's a brilliant idea because there's less pressure, and then
Right.
everyone has fun. And that's an awesome idea. That like who's gonna make this D&D dating app now or offshoot?
Titles. I was thinking like LFP, looking for partner.
What if they post
Dungeons
their
and
character?
dating.
It's like, oh, first level ranger, swipe left.
Oh my gosh, and you have to label yourself. Okay, so you have to label yourself as your class and maybe level.
Yes. What would you guys be if you did that?
Uh, See,
I know
I
what
think
Adrian
ever
wants
since
to say.
I know what I want to say, but I'm definitely not that. I think it's got to either be a bard or cleric, to be honest. I mean, my normal class playing is rogue, but
Yes.
that's not who I am. I don't have an edgy backstory. I'm dead. And I can't be a halfling anymore. I guess are we all just humans at this point?
Oh man.
No, we're all dancers.
We're all
Yeah. Correct.
I've had that song on repeat. I'm sorry. I had to. It's been on repeat for like 3 months.
It's a classic. I remember how much I love that song, and I should listen to it again.
I don't know. I want to say druid because I've got like 1,000 dogs, but
Yes.
I don't know how hippie beyond just having creatures in my house I could be. But I'm also not sneaky to be. I don't know. I'd probably be rogue. Let's be honest. I am kind of sneaky. I don't want to admit that I'm sneaky, but I could be sneaky. I could keep secrets. I do see. No, rogue. Oh no.
Oh no, I'm a rogue.
Oh no, I'm a rogue.
Crap, we're rogues. Yeah. I
What
might
about
even be
yourself,
that.
Kelsey?
I might. Yeah. I don't know. I always feel like it'd either be like rogue or sorcerer because I feel like sorcerers have no idea what they're doing. They just do it from the heart. And that's kind of what I try to do. I feel like, yeah, like, because like wizards are like, I feel like a real life wizard would be someone who can like code in 19 languages and they're like, they got like a 4.0 and all that. And I'm like, that's not me. So, sorcerer or rogue for sure. Hmm.
Gotcha.
Low level.
So here's the thing, like I was thinking like as another like page of the profile is like just having anyone have spells just to have like some sort of weird quirky thing they can do. So like I want to say like charm, not charm,
Ooh.
friend,
Sure.
make friends or something like that, or like
Look,
like
that's
their
like the
personality
fishing
trait.
picture and like the topless shirt, like the topless
Hmm.
shirt, the no shirt picture. Like I've got fishing. Like if you have the charm person spell on there, like I'm going to avoid you. I'm going to swipe the other way. Like I'm not.
Yeah, you can't tell people you know how to cast Charm Person. That's like the spell you can't tell people about.
All right. Shoot, where were we?
We were
Oh, we
talking
went
about
way on it.
theming of our new dating platform.
A dating platform. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we were theming. Look, if we're on track.
Yeah, it's a podcast. It's gonna go off the rails.
Where did it lead
Um,
from? I know we were talking about like I was talking about Jesse, who's literally sitting 2 feet to my left, like encouraging me to make content. And she does maps for me. That's right. We were talking about maps. Yep.
there we go.
Love a
That's
good map.
Okay,
fascinating
so
too. Thinking about building maps, I feel like once again, my like all the potential choices of a map, I think would stop me from thinking or from doing it.
It is, I personally think designing a map's the hardest part, but and I with the caveat that by no means is it impossible. It's just it for me it takes the most like mental investment to design a map because it's kind of like do you design it while you're writing? Like do you design it before and then write stuff to the map or do you like write the whole adventure and then try to come up with a map in hindsight? It's kind of like a weird I don't know. It's all happening at the same time while you're writing and it's kind of like smushy sometimes.
Do you write with your maps in mind?
Kind of. Like I'll have usually like a broad idea and like a lot of times I'll just draw like little like circle and line nodes to be like I kind of want there to be like a fight here and then over here like some big space and then maybe a trap over here and it'll just be like circles and sticks and then as I write I'll kind of like turn it into a real looking thing with a little more detail and like oh maybe I'll make a path this way instead because I wrote it or I literally sometimes I make decisions on how the map looks based on how much space I have in the manuscript to write more detail. So it's constantly morphing as I write.
it's just this amoeba until it's finally pinned down.
Totally.
I like. Are you like because like thinking about like what you see when writing the thing versus like oh now I have to actually like 5 foot square this thing across like and actually make something like is it hard to translate that and does your partner think that it's the easiest thing in the world or
She's a lot more visual than me, I think. So for her, kind of like imagining spaces comes really easily, and for me, it doesn't. So I have to do the thing we kind of talked about, where you just grab a bunch of ideas and words and like inspirations and try to smash them together, and that helps me come up with like maybe how I want a place to look thematically. And then I literally have to draw like 10 really bad drafts of a map before it's usable. And then I'll draw like a version, like a pencil version of it and give it to her. And then usually I'll try to write notes on there, like this is a table and like this is a pit to the void of nothingness. And like she'll draw it and work with me on like what details to add as she goes based off of like that more precise thing I give her. Rarely does she like wing a map and then I'll write something to it. Like usually I'll give her something that's fully realized that took me an immense amount of pain to create, and then she'll like render it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Is there any other thing that kind of like inspires you while you work? We talked about music. Is there like things you burn, or lighting or things like that?
Um, you know, as far as my environment goes, usually I the only thing that I actually need is like I need quiet when I'm writing. I can barely listen to music like while I'm actually writing. So certainly when I'm getting inspiration and stuff I do, but when I'm writing it's like I need like dead like library grade science, which or silence I should say, which might be partly why I named my company the Arcane Library. I need to be quiet. And then I almost always need like a notebook and like a pen that I can just scribble stuff down. I do that constantly while I'm writing, like ideas or like, oh, fix that thing, or like draw a little picture of something that I'm trying to imagine that's not coming so easily. Stuff like that. My notebook. Here it is. Wait, I don't know. Is our podcast gonna be, are people gonna be able to see things on this one? This is the notebook I have.
No, Kelsey just held up a gray notebook, like a little larger than a palm.
with a
Uh,
yellow ribbon.
It's just got all this, I don't know what's happening in here. It looks like madness. Like part of writing, I had to get over this feeling that I couldn't defile my notebook with bad ideas or terrible scratchy drafts. Like this is a scratchy map draft right here. And it just looks like a mess. It just looks like a mess. And
literally looks like my maps.
it's just ink and pencil and like this. Oh, this was I have like a little kind of like graph that I do where it's boxes and lines where it's an initial map, and then it
Yeah,
turns into a more rendered looking like actual room shapes and stuff. But the listeners
that's
won't get to see that.
I mean, like I've done that so many times with my maps, like because this was like, oh, it's gonna be a theater of the mind. All I need to know is this connects here, and this is what this room looks like. I already know that in my mind, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, there you go. That's easy. That's a great way to go.
It gets a little chaotic because like people are like, are we having maps? And I'm like, no, I didn't think that far. I know what it looks like. Trust me. Because you have very
Oh
different
no.
individuals who play, like who like I gotta have it there because they can't visualize it, and then the people are like, yeah, no, I know what you're saying. And I've played with both, and I try to always have maps at this point because the people I play with need maps. Otherwise, it's just a whole bunch of me just like, okay, and they're like, okay, I move 150 feet this way. I'm like, oh no, writes 15 line off the little post-it note that's this big, scratching out, putting another number just consistently.
Oh no. That is tough because like D&D sort of like had the way it's built sort of demands like tactical movement and like precise distances, but it's like practically impossible to come up with that stuff on the fly. It's really hard. So even when you're like planning it, it's hard to come up with. So it's yeah, running like a theater of the mind game has that challenge to it. But it can be done. I'm just not
Oh
good at it.
yeah. I'm getting better for sure. And when this is all a learning experience, like I'm getting better at writing things and portraying objects. Now that I'm like working on a let's play podcast, I have to be more descriptive. I have to make more sound effects with my mouth, like a real learning curve going on.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Constant
even
learning.
listening to other podcasts. So I started listening to Unsleeping City again, and I have been listening to just like podcast D&D games. So like we don't really necessarily need to know what the map looks like. I kind of can figure out in my brain, but there's something about knowing that there's like a dimension 20 map. I just my brain is like I don't know what it looks like. We don't know. I can't figure it out. So I think for me, listening or for playing, it has to be one or the other. Either we are using maps and I'm sticking to the map 110%, or there are no maps and there are no rules and everything is fine and we are all 100% theater of the mind. And this morning was listening to it. And I was like, I don't know what this looks like because I know I can look at it online. But some of the other podcasts like Dungeons and Daddies, I never had an issue. It was never a problem of me, imagining what it looked like.
Yeah. It's hard when you try to combine the two sort of, yeah, when you're like kind of theater of the mind and kind of precise too, it's really hard
Mhm.
because you either have to, I think it's very wise of you to like go all in on one side or the other because
Exactly. Yeah.
it's a lot to juggle otherwise.
I kind of want to return to something we talked about all the way back. I think it was in March we talked.
Yeah.
Talk about minimalism, and we kind of, me and Alex, because I just edited the episode. We talked about like, hey, Alex, have you been doing some minimalism stuff? And like, hey, Adrian, have you? And I'm like, not as much.
You know
And
what?
I'm like,
I have. I have
oh yeah,
now sensed that. Yes, I have narrowed down my teaching things into three, four, four notebooks. I have a math, I have a reading notebook, I have a general like classroom management nonsense, and then I have one where I keep all of the information that I need to know as a teacher and I need to somehow give my students this knowledge in like a form, right? What is a fiction? It has all these elements and then like having that. So rather than having 16 notebooks and sticky notes galore, I have done one thing in my life where it is minimalized.
Nice. That's a big thing unto itself, the notes and all that. Like I always struggle with how to keep my notes organized. I'm in fact thinking of I'm maybe gonna break my own methods here by I was thinking of increasing from one to two separate notebooks because
that's 100% increase. Not
it's a
kidding.
100%. I know, because like dividing the information out, like you got to find that like happy balance between
Mhm.
like keeping things compartmentalized but not too much, and like I do this bad thing where I jam all my game notes into my design notebook and I can't find anything and like I flip to a page and it's like a half-formed map and I'm like this isn't what we're doing now I can't find anything and so I might split them out into two separate entities going forward. So, you know, I'm backsliding.
Well, we're just essentially adapting, right?
Yes.
I would like to throw it out once again, not like the listeners can see, a traveler's notebook where you have so you have one notebook, and then I have like three separate books in here as everything falls out.
Pretty.
So I have one book that I can actually take out, but it's in
Ooh.
like one set. So I have two other books I can use, and they all have different. All has one theme, so it all has like a D&D theme. But like I have one book for a campaign, and then one book for random notes we take on one shots, and then I have another book for other random things I think of while we're playing.
That is
Traveler's
perfect. That
notebook,
sounds I have to look into this. I like that a lot.
and they come in all sorts of sizes. So this is like a little A2 size. Is that what this is? Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I
don't know
get
what those
mixed up.
words mean.
I don't know it.
I don't know why I know it, so it's not helping.
Nice.
That's awesome. As of recording, Christmas is coming. People at my office are already asking me to do like, hey, get ready for Secret Santa. I'm like, I don't I don't know if I can figure out things for everybody or for that one person. I kind of know most of the staff. They're like, you have to bring 5 gifts. I'm like, what? 5 gifts? Like, I'm like, this is gonna
Food.
be candy, just a bunch
You
of
bring
candy. They're like,
food.
right.
You bake
That sounds
cookies, you bring jerky, you bring like a drink, and then that look, I had a Secret Santa before I left tech and I had no idea who this woman was.
Alex looks into the camera.
I had no I mean I knew like we had staff meetings together, but like for me to give you a gift from the heart, for me to spend time thinking about it, it was miserable. I hated it.
Yeah.
But everybody likes candy or food. So like
yeah, everyone eats, right? So
just figure out what they
that's
like in the next couple of weeks and give them. They like
I'll
tea, they
figure
get
it.
a box of tea.
I'll figure it
yeah.
out. But the question was like, as someone who is a minimalist, what do you ask for? What do you get?
This is so hard. Yeah, because my family celebrates Christmas and like my mom always she's so sweet. She'll go absolutely overboard trying to accommodate my minimalism. And my sister is also very minimalist. And so she and I are like, my sister and I are, we apparently cause so much disaster in my mom's life because she tries to like create things that can accommodate us. It's so funny. And like knowing what to ask for, it's hard because if I need something, this is so bad. I don't know if you guys do this. If I need something, I'll just buy it for myself instantly.
Yeah,
And then I'm like, I'm
exactly.
good. So I don't know. I don't know. I love food. Food is a great option. That's so smart. I'll always take food. I'll take coffee. That's
Heck
great.
yeah.
Like
Need
baby
more of
gift
that.
cards.
Yeah. There you go.
Hmm.
Anything anything I can turn into coffee or blood sugar, I'll take it.
Awesome. No, I have the same mentality of just like, I have the money. Why wait? I can just do it now. And I don't usually want things that often. So like, why not? And then when people ask like, what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, I don't need anything. I'm fine. I'm golden. Like, and I feel like if I tell you, then I like the whole like the gift thing is like it's not a surprise anymore to me. Like I love the
Right.
like what's in the box. It's like I told you what's in the box, you know.
It feels very
um
inauthentic.
Yeah.
like you're my family. Like, don't you know me?
Sometimes the answer is no.
Not well enough, but no, I know. And like Adrian, imagine somebody who doesn't know D&D trying to get
Mhm.
you like a D&D themed gift. They'd be flailing so hard. Like they'd try, but I mean, it's just too specialized. Like someone from the outside would it would be like a 3 credit college course trying to figure out what you actually needed that for
Right.
D&D. It would take so long. And then they
Yeah.
ask and then it ruins it and it's just, it's too much.
I had one time my girlfriend at the time's like roommate was like sitting in the corner while she was just my girlfriend was asking me like, hey, what do you want? I'm like, I don't need anything, I'm fine, don't worry about it. And then just from the corner in the room, just like, stop being a bitch and tell her. And I'm like, what? What do you want me to do with that? I don't need anything. I'm not like, well, you gotta ask hard enough. Like I'm just like, I don't want anything. I don't know what I want. And if
Oh no.
if I figure it out, I'm gonna get it for myself.
There you go. Man, that's hard. And then like when you're like I don't know if you all run into this too, where you're trying like I'm always trying not to like accumulate too much stuff and like it's a constantly losing fight because like it's just I don't know where it all comes from. But then when people get you gifts like just like tons of gifts, you're like, where do I put this stuff? Like another picture. My mom's into picture frames, and
Hmm.
I'm like, I have no picture frames up in my house at all. And so I'm like, where do I put this one? I don't know. And then you feel bad. You feel bad like
Hmm.
donating because it was a gift and you're like, oh no, like and I'm a bad person for donating this. It's just so difficult. And just be like, just get me some an Amazon gift card or some cookies.
Just give me some gas money. It'll be fine.
Yes, I would do
Yes.
that.
As I'm a very good gift giver. I put a lot of points in there early on because that was my love language, was like being able to figure out what people like. Um, but usually for things like that, it's like stupid niche things that nobody else would ever want. So my dad always got like figures of like things in our life. So when he had his heart transplant, he got a lot of like Tin Man type things, or um, he used to read green eggs and ham, so he has like a little like green eggs and ham thing. So like little tiny trinkets of like, this is how you remember me, but like that they don't take a lot of space, and like I'm okay with those things being like stored in a drawer or like stored and hidden away. But like when you find them, you're like, oh, that's so much fun. Like, but then
Yeah,
I'll put it away because I'll need it.
that's genius. That's like that's what my wife and I actually do is we are literally our present to each other is we'll put in a lot of effort trying to pick out like a Christmas tree ornament that encapsulates like something about them from that year, which is I love that your dad is kind of like that's the similar vibe because it is you can treasure it. You don't have to have it out all the time, but then when you find it, it's still meaningful and you can like put it up for Christmas and remember stuff and then like but then it's nothing too crazy. And it's always fun to look back at them. Like you always remember what they represent because it's like, you know, it's special. It's like one little special thing.
Mhm. I remember my dad got me the when you go to the mall and they like try to like file down your nails and like give you lotion and stuff. That was probably this. He went rogue. He went off of his normal path of getting like gaming consoles or like game video games. And this was the only birthday gift I ever got where it wasn't like one of those, and it was, it was the whole set, like the whole manicure set. Like I remember him sitting down at dinner, and he was just like showing us his nails. He was like, "This is gonna like be your nail. This is gonna look so good." Like the girl gave it to me and said it was gonna like it was just popular, and I was like, "Oh my god, Dad!" And he's just the funniest, the cutest. So like parents, if you're listening, even those gifts that you're like, my kid's probably never gonna like that, if it's something out of the ordinary, like that's a treasured memory.
So
The
true.
core memory.
Oh,
Any other questions? I think we're about to wrap this one up.
Well, with the holidays coming up, what D&D gift would you all want?
Oh. Why we just talked about how I don't want
I didn't say I was
anything.
getting it. I was just saying like if you had an ideal moment, if somebody was like,
Well,
"Hey,
that's the thing. That's like it's because I don't have it pictured in my head. Like, the ideal thing.
what is the idea? Yeah, what is the ideal thing? It doesn't have to
I
be
want to
real."
not live in Alpine anymore. Can you get a moving truck and let's get out of here?
ooh, you went all in. That's not even D&D theme. That's just like the big
Like,
gift right there.
it's great. Then I can actually get a table, maybe, to play D&D. But then I have to find people. But like, I can't even. I'm trying to like see. That's why I can't do. Like, it's either gonna be like nothing inconsequential or like the biggest ask ever. Like, I just don't have an in between.
Well, okay, what's your small ask?
Give me a second. I was just using it as an idea, like not as an actual item.
I'm sorry. I
He's like,
thought
I'll go
you
last.
What about you, Alex? Do you have an idea?
of what I would need D&D wise.
Yes, D&D wise. Yes, yes, yes. See, we just talked
What do
about
we
it.
even need? I know. I'm looking around. Mm.
You know what? Okay, here, I've got it. I honestly, and I think this would be helpful in like all of my life. I need some sort of like non-committal. Oh, I need an iPad. Like, I'll narrow it down. I need an iPad because I need like a non-committal thing where I can take notes and like mess it up, and then I don't feel like I'm throwing paper away or wasting ink or doing anything like that. So my ideal D&D ask would be like an iPad, which once again is like unrealistic for people, and I can get myself. So, and then it's once again the gift that keeps on giving. So
Nice. But I like that. That's you have a good reason for that one. And it like and you can put like D&D like PDFs on it. I actually carry around instead of books, I carry around an iPad mini with like game books on it and I use that as a reference and like that has been the biggest life upgrade ever because I used to break my back carrying around like 40 pounds of books and like I was like, we're not even gonna reference these. I'm just gonna make something up on the fly. So like, why am I doing this?
Uh,
Mhm.
I'm trying. Gosh, I, I I think the stupidest ask, and I think it's. I don't need any more dice. I got enough. They're strewn all over the place because I keep dropping them. But I have the bag like right here. Like, I bought two big things of dice so I could share them, and I haven't gone back and asked for any more. Then my mom gets me a pair, like 3 sets for Christmas, and I'm like, "Thanks, mom.
Aw.
I I'll use them. I swear they're much better than these like cheapo dice that I bought." But thanks, mom. You're trying, and I didn't, and it's because I said I didn't want anything, and you knew that I liked this. It was still something.
That's Susie. She's trying. She's trying.
I think another thing that would be interesting would be like a container specifically for like dice jail.
Oh,
Here's the thing. I'm very violent with my dice. Either they're gonna like okay, it's the bad luck is about to be out, or
just wings
one of
it.
the two. And they're just like, okay, out of sight, out of mind. Those rolls are gone. Next dice, next dice.
I am inappropriately attached to my dice. I think that's the problem, that they're all precious and I would never throw any of them. They would have to just sit in timeout and then they could come back later. But
I
the
agree with
idea of
that.
throwing them,
I just
no.
don't even know what I would lose one and it would bother me. Like I would lose, I'd be like, I have, like I'm missing one from the specific set of colors and then it would like make my like I would feel very OCD-ish about it. I'd be like, there's an imbalance of red and white dice in this dice tray right now.
I agree. I have a set that came with like 3 D20s and I was like, this is too many D20s. Like I don't need this many and now it all looks wrong. Like I could take the
Yep.
extra D6s, I get that, but like no, I don't need extra
D20s
D20s.
though.
No.
No. And you got your like trusted D20 that until it betrays you horribly, that's the one you roll all the time. So
Mhm.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
have that anyway. But dice. This is terrible. This is like something that I don't know if I cling to this just because it's so weird or if it's like something that actually like works for me, but I only own 3 sets of dice, which is kind of psycho, but it's still, I mean, I think we might have even talked about this last time we spoke, and
Mhm.
it's still true. I still only own 3 sets of dice. It has not changed. So, but I run out of,
It's
I might need
neat.
more D6s.
D6s are a hot commodity.
Yeah, those fireballs.
I played Hero
Truly.
Clicks for like a hot minute, and so I needed a bunch of D6s. So I have like a set of matching D6s, but then
Mm,
I can't use them unless I use them all at once because then they're mixing with the other dice, and
mm, it's bad.
it's a problem.
Okay, I know what I want. I figured it out. It took me a
Okay, was
while.
What
solving
is
that for
it?
you?
I want a coffee mug with our symbol of our podcast. That's it. That's all.
Done.
Wait, what does it say? What does it have
Done.
on it?
It's just like a scroll and ampersand on it.
Oh,
Um,
oh.
so that's what our what's it called? You have a
Do you want a
sticker?
mug? What kind of mug? What size? What mug do you
Oh
want?
my!
Oh, that's not it.
I don't know. This I thought this was hypothetical. Um,
You asked for something with your
who
podcasting
said?
partner
I
who
said I
has
didn't
the
want it.
original files, who did
Oh,
the
it's
design. Why would I didn't know this was a thing you wanted. I can get you merch. What you want? Like, you want a mug? Girl, you got a mug.
I don't know what size. It's bigger than small. I don't. I know they're in ounces
So
or
like
something, but I
a
don't know.
normal
I don't drink
size
enough
mug? Do
things
you want
to.
like a bigger mug? Do you want one? Because I've got like the bigger ones that are like
What's bigger? Like
um It's like
Like, what does
big
that
enough for
look
like
like?
2 scoops of ice cream.
Ooh,
2
good
scoops.
measuring reference.
That's because that's what it's used for. It's like this big, it's like also like 3 bags of hot chocolate. I'm a
Ooh.
child, the more we talk.
So it's like a soup bowl size.
Well,
No,
yes.
a tall. I don't know.
See, I
No.
see. Here's the thing. I
Fine.
want the logo to be on the bottom, so when people like when I'm drinking, it's like a conversation starter.
My teacher
Ooh.
friend got me this beautiful rainbow mug for us succeeding last year. And it's a big like mug, but if I tip it up, it's got a little middle finger like flipping people off. But it's like beautiful
Ooh.
and rainbow and sparkly. And then it says "fuck you."
I love it. Double whammy.
I don't take it out because that's too mean to be in public. Like
Too aggressive in the morning.
it's too aggressive. It's my like nightstand water cup.
There you go. Yeah, and you don't want to provoke people before they've had their coffee. It's like much higher chance of problem. So if you're like,
For
if it's
sure.
coffee time and you're flipping people off, risky.
Bring it.
All right, that's the only thing I want. I want something to like remember what the stuff I've been doing for the past year and a half ish, off and on now.
I'm gonna
And then
cross stitch
just
it too.
look what I've done. I had nothing in mind. I figured it out. This is what I want, and now you're going all the way.
I told you I'm really good at it. Once you gave me one, everything you're gonna get like
What
a
about you? What about
teal and
you?
coral like track suits with like the logo on the back.
Yes, right here.
And then like a mug and then like a bag.
Oh my goodness, I'm just swagged out in merch.
Glorious. I mean,
Coming soon.
Have you thought about that for your Arcane Library Eye
I should do the
merch?
eye more on things. There's some merch with it, but like I should go all in on that and just put it on like, I don't know,
Things like
everything. I don't know. It's so, do you know what's so weird is I feel like I like don't want to wear it myself because it's too like it's too annoying. It's like you're wearing your own
You
Arcane
are your
Library
brand.
shirt and be like, yeah. I mean,
Here's
it's
how
not
I say
actually.
it. Yeah, like I have the sticker on my water bottle. And it's like it's your own podcast. I'm like, yeah, but if I didn't believe in what I did, I wouldn't have it, and I just start drinking.
See, there you
But
go.
also, most of these people are like, don't know what D&D is, and I'm like, it's just this, and they're like, oh, that's nice. And I'm like, walk away.
It's great when they recognize like a D&D reference and then you're like, "Oh, we can like in the grocery store line and someone's like, "Is that a cleric on your shirt?" And you're like, "Mm-hmm. What do you know about clerics?" You know?
What you know about Twilight Domain?
Yeah. Subclass choice. What would yours be? Yeah.
Oh my
Hmm.
god, mine too.
I've literally met people like the other D&D players like because of that because they recognize some like gaming reference, like D&D reference on my shirt. Like the coffee shop I go to, a lot of them play D&D and I didn't know it until I wore a nerdy shirt in one day. So look at that, you know?
And then you handed out business cards and then you had an influx of orders.
No, that yeah. Oh no, they'd be like, "Oh God, that Arcane Library girl's here again. She's gonna tell us about her
She's gonna talk about her
next."
stuff.
Oh no.
She's
Her
gonna start hawking her
project.
wares.
The
Oh
only
no.
request I do have of Arcane Library merchandise is like a flat brim hat because normal hats look silly on me.
Ooh,
Um,
that's smart.
if
No,
I could
me
have a flat
too.
brim, I will have one. I will.
I'm writing this in my notebook I just showed you. It's being written down. This needs to happen.
It's a good logo though, too. Like that's the other. It is a good
Thank
logo.
you so much. My wife designed that logo. I have to give her credit as well. Like when she was like, "Hey, you should write D&D adventures because you love it." I was like, I tried to come up with every excuse possible. I was like, "Well, I don't have a brand." And she's like, "I'll make one." She helped me write really intense. No, she's No, she would never sound like that in real life. She has the most like non-intense voice ever. But yeah, she was like, "No, I'll help you make one." And she did this whole like, because she's a professional graphic designer, and she like gave me this like extremely intensive like logo assistance thing, and like, that was what resulted in the Arcane Library. I'm spoiled, I guess. I'm spoiled.
No worries. We usually outsource our friends as well. Not as
Yeah.
close as a partner, but like, we got our Twitch stuff and then our music stuff. Like we know a guy who knows a guy, or like we're close friends. They're working on stuff.
We know multiple
Let's support
people,
them
which is
too.
wild. Like,
Yeah.
don't use and abuse your friends, but like your friends have some talents that they don't share outwardly. Use
There you
them.
go.
Yeah.
And then you run a D&D game for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Did we say your gift, Alex?
Dang it. Yes, we did. iPad.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
Ooh, the
Kelsey,
iPad.
Kelsey, did we talk about your thing?
I don't know if because I'm still thinking up one and it's tough. I would probably say some nice D6s that won't make my other ones feel bad or look really weird. That's you know, I need $3.32 worth of dice for Christmas.
You're gonna send this episode to your family, and then they're gonna get to the very end and be like, "We know," and then you're gonna have an influx of D6s. Like that's gonna be the
Too
issue.
many. They could each buy me one. They'd be like, I spent 16 cents on this dice for you. I'd be like, thank you.
I found this underneath a car.
Yes.
We pulled this out of the Monopoly.
We're just hanging out at game stores, waiting for random loose dice to fall out of people's bags.
Like I waited for Adrian to throw this one in disgust through a window. After listening, I knew just to wait outside his window. It's so creepy.
Are there vintage D&D dice? Is that a thing?
I think there must be.
There's gotta be.
Like old looking ones when it was like they had this sort of waxy or plastic to them, and you actually had to color in the numbers with like crayons or I've never done that, but apparently if you're real old school, you do that. I've never done it myself.
I've never heard of that, but that is interesting to know that that was a thing back then. And when I say
Yeah.
back then, it wasn't that far off. I'm just saying before I
Well,
started playing.
maybe. I mean, D&D is going to be 50 years old soon, so in a couple of years. So it's actually like, yeah, it's getting there. Soon it'll qualify for Medicare, and then
retirement.
yeah.
Oof. I'm gonna have to find a home for D&D.
Oh no.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, folks?
Mhm.
All right then. Kelsey, where can they find you?
You can find me at thearcanelibrary.com and links out to like YouTube, Instagram, even on Discord. If you want to join my Discord, just hit me up through a messaging platform.
Awesome. All right, Alex.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us for another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us wherever pods are cast. Go like and subscribe us wherever you listen to podcasts. Share us with a friend. Share us with family. Get them on board with whatever we're doing. You can also join us on our Patreon. We would love to have your support and bringing more episodes and more fun things to the D&D space. That was it, right? Those are the two.
That sounds right.
It sounds
I
like
believe
a
in
hail
you
coming.
immensely. So, like when you asked it, I've now second guessed you, and now I don't know if I can ever trust you again. No, I'm just kidding.
I forgot to like and subscribe last time, so I was like,
oh,
that's
see, I didn't even notice that.
fine. And then it started like, I don't know, Texas outside.
It is Texas outside.
Yeah, started into Texas.
Unless you're Kelsey.
It's just the desert where I am.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm Kelsey.
Go have some fun.